Hey kids, welcome back to your favorite politically incorrect sports commentary. It's Sports Frenzy 2.0, baby. That's right, I'm back, the conquistador Dave Height, along with my brother from another mother,
the maestro, Kevin Crane. And everybody out there is exhaling with relief that they don't have to listen to me for 2 straight hours this week.
droning on and on.
Yes, because they always know. Oh, God, he's alone. It's going to go 15 minutes longer than normal. Because Dave's not there to stop him and shut him up when he goes on his rants and his asides and his tangents.
But that's all right. Life is good.
All right. You know, here on April the 22nd, 2026, Wednesday night, we are just 1 day away from the NFL draft, the first round of the NFL draft, Thursday night, April the 23rd, of course. Sports Frenzy 2.0 has our little modest, smallish get-together, but it is a tradition. Each and every year, half of the Sports Frenzy panel of 8 get-together. That would be me, Dave, Sam, and, of course, Mrs. C. We all get together to hang out, watch the draft, drink a lot. No. We are responsible. We are responsible human beings.
Snack accordingly.
Yes, we do make sure we are hydrated and we eat enough to absorb all the ridiculous and silly alcohols that we will be imbibing. But, of course, this will be one of the great and glorious years where the Bears do not draft early.
I know, we have to wait. And wait.
But this will be an interesting draft. I think people are really poo-pooing this draft a little bit more than they should be.
This is one where you can really build some depth and look to the future for your organization. There's not a lot of great skill positions out there. This is heavy on quality linemen. Both offense and defense.
Yep. Linebacker or 2, wide receiver or 2, of course.
Couple of safeties.
Yep, the number 1 pick will be, unless there's an absolute shocker, will be the only quarterback taken in the first, I would hope,
first
20 picks.
Yeah.
You know, somebody might sneak in to get Ty Simpson at the back end of the first round so they can have that potential to lock him in for that 5th year.
Yeah, have them sit for a full season.
Right.
So.
But, it'll be... And you've got, I believe, 6 teams. I'm 99% sure I'm right on the 6 teams this year that have 2 picks apiece in the first round. Both New York teams, by the way. After the trade this past weekend where the Giants shipped defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence in a shocker to me, because the Bengals don't do this.
No, that shows that they need to shore up that defense.
Yep, the Giants get the number 10 overall pick in this draft from the Bengals for Dexter Lawrence, and then Dexter Lawrence gets a 1-year extension on his current deal, so now they've got him, Cincinnati does, locked up through 2028. Now, of course, at some point in time, he's going to do exactly what he just did with the Giants and bitch and piss and moan and say, I want a new deal.
But let's see what he does for the Bengals. Maybe they might actually pry open that little penny purse and fork over for somebody.
Interesting conversation to have here for a minute about this. A lot of people are saying this is to appease Joe Burrow. This is a way to say to Joe Burrow, we're trying as best we can, because there are rumblings and rumors
that he wants out.
That he could ask for a trade here in the next year or 2. Now, I look at it as a 2-year window. So now you've got a couple decent pieces on defense, even though you let Trey Hendrickson go.
You just replaced him.
You brought in Dexter Lawrence. You brought in a couple guys in free agency. We'll see what Al Golden can do. He is a damn good defensive coordinator when he's got something to work with.
Yeah, if he's got talent there, then look out.
The AFC North is not the strongest it has ever been right now. The Browns are the Browns. The Steelers don't know who their quarterback still is going to be. And the Ravens with a brand new head coach for the first time in almost 2 decades.
Yeah. We'll have to see how those adjustments go.
So this is a window of opportunity for the Bengals. So this year, I look at it as, okay,
the Bengals cannot squander this.
Yeah, you've got a couple pieces on defense. Let's see what Al Golden can do with it. Then, this is why I say it's a 2-year window. Then, if things go down the shitter, they fire Zach Taylor, they fire the entire coaching staff, and tell Joe Burrow, you help us decide. I hate this. You know I hate this.
Don't let the inmates run the asylum.
But in this case, the Bengals will have no choice. The Bengals will have no choice but to go to Joe Burrow and say, you sit in, you tell us who you want your coach to be. And then if it fails the second year, then he's going to want to trade.
But why did they bring Zach Taylor back again?
Because that's what's so odd about the Bengals and this move. This is not a Bengals move. That's why it shocked me, because I would have expected them, like you said, to fire Zach Taylor, bring in another no-name coach, and just suffer along like they always have. They've already shelled out the money for Burrow and for Higgins and for Chase. The offense is solid. The offense is stellar.
Their defense sucks.
Right. So the Bengals are going to be a very interesting story in 2026.
Yeah, it'll be a case study in, can the defense shore up enough to allow the offense to not have to worry.
All right, Dave, let's talk money. Oh, boy, I think my balls just crawled up into my rectum there. Jesus. The Texans, speaking of defensive stars, give defensive end Will Anderson Jr. a 3-year, $150 million extension with $134 million guaranteed.
Damn.
I do believe that is the biggest contract ever per year for a non-quarterback.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And by the way, I was still going back to the Bengals again. I'm fascinated with the Bengals because I love Joe Burrow when he's healthy. I was thinking about this 2-year window and thinking about the teams in 2 years. He could go to the Rams.
Oof.
Because Stafford will probably be done at that point. He could go to the Texans.
Because Stroud.
And go, oh my God, a defense? They've got a defense. If Stroud does not turn this around, there are going to be options. There are going to be teams that are going to be salivating for Joe Burrow in 2 years if the Bengals don't get this right. Sorry. And they're going, everybody out there is going, oh, I thought we were done with his fucking tangents. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but
shut him up, Dave. Shut him up.
Yeah, well, you know, the Jet, he wouldn't be dumb enough to go to the Jets, even for money.
No, I looked at the teams that in 2 years
are definitely going to have
either have a quarterback who's retiring or could have a quarterback who has failed miserably and they're going to be looking to get rid of him.
Minnesota.
Yeah, that was another one I was thinking of. You're right. If they can hold out, if Kyler Murray plays well enough this year and they give him a short-term extension, they could be in play. And then he gets Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the other key to this thing, is who's going to have
the
weapons.
Needs the weapons to be there.
You could have Puka with the Rams, with Stafford retiring.
Jefferson
you could have
with
Nico
the
Collins with the Texans. So those are the teams I was looking at. The 3 big teams that in 2 years could be saying, we'll give you a couple first-rounders for Joe Burrow, and he'd be more than happy to go.
Yep. Very interesting.
How often do we talk about kickers?
Not very often, but I think we have to this week. Good Lord.
Dallas kicker Brandon Aubrey, who started off his career on, I believe, the Notre Dame soccer team.
Yeah.
And then,
never played football.
And then went to, I believe, the USFL.
Yeah. First time kicking a football.
Yep. And he has proven to be, in my humble opinion, the best kicker in the NFL.
Currently, yes.
Gets a 4-year, $28 million deal with the Cowboys, $20 million guaranteed. The first kicker ever to get a $7 million average contract. The New England Patriots, when they're not trying to deflect from Diana Rossini's sexual hijinks with their head coach,
who had difficult conversations with his team and family. Yeah. When's the divorce being filed?
Which one? Both?
Bingo.
Yeah, I talked a lot about this last week when you weren't here, so we won't rehash necessarily everything, but I enjoyed, note sarcasm, listening to some of the call-in shows this past week where the women call in and say, this is a double standard. Why isn't he being fired? Why isn't he being forced out of his job? Because she overstepped the bounds of her job description. He didn't. This is her doing something that directly affects her job.
Yep.
It doesn't affect his job. It really doesn't.
It doesn't.
Sorry, but it doesn't.
She was trying to angle for access that other reporters were not going to be able to get.
Oh, maybe they have a really special bond, Dave. Maybe it's true love.
Yeah, how'd that work out for the CEO
and
by the
way,
HR person?
Did you hear? I can't remember her name. She's actually, I hate to say this, she's a no-name, a nobody in the world of sports journalism. But this one woman went out and said, we all knew she was doing this. We all knew she was basically sleeping around to get information and to get special access. She has ruined the reputation of all female,
women's sports reporters.
Yeah. And then somebody comes back and says, oh, by the way, aren't you sleeping with a former quarterback? But she said, yeah, former quarterback.
Nobody
not
active.
A head coach, not a general manager. I just thought that was funny.
That's good.
But yeah, A.J. Brown, this is the worst kept secret in the NFL. The one thing about this I find interesting is now they're saying that this deal is going to happen. A.J. Brown is going to get traded from the Eagles to the Patriots, but it's going to happen after June the 1st. So I would think, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but I would think in the timeline, this would bump the price up. Because if we're not talking about any draft picks in its current draft this week, in the 2026 draft, and you're telling the Eagles you're going to have to wait until next April to start reaping the benefits from this trade, then I expect a 1 and maybe a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, you need additional.
Because if I was getting a trade going where I was getting a pick tomorrow night, then I'm okay with it.
Then we're okay.
Maybe it's another.
What are we doing here? Oh, you have to wait for this date to be able to release somebody to absorb the cap.
Yeah, it's all the cap hit shit. Yep. But I think that drives the price up for next year in terms of draft picks.
Yep.
Because you're going to make the other team wait a full year, basically, before they start reaping any benefits.
Benefit from it, no. Now it's addition by subtraction.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that now Devontae Smith moves up, and now we get to see him. I think will shine as a number 1 receiver.
I thought he was the better of the two. the most consistent.
Yep. And last week, I know you weren't here, they brought in Dontavian Wicks in a trade from the Packers. I think that was a precursor move.
Getting ready for this.
Getting a guy who could maybe step in as a number two.
Yep.
Left tackle Trent Williams, San Francisco 49ers. This is a drama that plays out, it seems like, almost every year with him. But he got his money. He got paid. He will still be on the left side protecting Brock Purdy in San Francisco. 2 years, $50 million extension. That will keep him through the 49ers through 2027. Now, a guy that I am not a big fan of. And I will admit sometimes I let fantasy football
cloud your judgment.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Yeah,
You're welcome.
You jumped in a little quick on that, didn't you?
Because I know where you're going.
You know me too well, yes. Zay Flowers, a guy who I have always stayed away from in fantasy football. I just don't think he's ever as good as his projections would lead you to believe. Now we're starting to see the fallout. We mentioned the Ravens here earlier and why I think the window is open for the Bengals, because I don't know what the mentality of this Ravens team is now without John Harbaugh leading them. Now we get Zay Flowers, their number one wide receiver, comes out and says, John Harbaugh's practices were too intense and they led to more injuries than you would have normally thought.
What does that translate to? I'm a snowflake who doesn't want to practice, and that ruins my performance on the field.
A diva wide receiver?
I know, right?
What? Oh. All right, trivia time for your Uncle Dave. I know he's thinking, I just got back. What are you doing to me, Kev? This is a tough one, too. But it's a fun one. A tough one, but a fun one.
That's what she said.
Going back to the draft. There are 3 teams who have never had the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Can you tell me those 3 teams? I got one. This is not fun. This is tough. This is very, very tough. Because you got to think about teams that have never really had that run of 2 or 3 really awful, terrible years where they would have had the number 1 pick. One is tricky. One of them is very tricky. And it tripped me up. If you get one of these, I would be impressed.
Niners?
I said the Niners. Incorrect. I thought the Niners as well. I can't remember when they had the number 1 pick, but it might have been back in the 70s, maybe?
Yeah, well, yeah. I know the Steelers got a number 1 pick because that's when they got Bradshaw in a coin flip over the Bears.
Yep, I remember that as well. No, I did say the Niners.
Dallas?
No, they've had the number 1 pick. They got Troy Aikman.
Was he a number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was number 1 overall. We just talked about one of these teams.
The Ravens?
Yes. The Ravens have never had the number 1 pick.
Yeah, because they were Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, you can't count them as the Browns.
Right, because they are a new franchise.
Right. The Browns inherited their own legacy when they got rewarded with the expansion team, which actually is still the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And we all know they've had plenty of number 1 picks. And they fucked most of them up.
That they do.
But as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, I say thank you very much for Baker Mayfield. You want me to tell you the one?
The Chargers?
No, they have had a number 1 pick in the past. Do you want me to tell you the one that fucked me up?
Which one?
I said the Denver Broncos. And that was... No, that was correct. I'm sorry. I didn't say the Denver Broncos. And I should have, because I was thinking about John Elway. And I thought, well, John Elway was a number one pick.
No,
so he was
a
pick.
First rounder.
No, he's the number one pick, but he was number one pick for the Colts.
And they traded.
Yes. See, that's what tripped me up on the Broncos. Is I said, no, the Broncos.
See, I was borderline on that. Because I thought, Elway, but no, there was something hinky with that one.
Yeah. No, I stayed away from the Broncos. Should have picked the Broncos. So the Ravens, the Broncos. You're never going to get the third one. You're defending Super Bowl champions.
I was just going to say the Seahawks.
Seahawks have never had the number one overall pick. So Seattle, Denver and Baltimore. Mike Tomlin is indeed going to join NBC in their studio as an analyst. Hopefully that means, well, Tony Dungy's gone, so he's taking over for Tony Dungy. So that's a good thing.
It's a very good thing.
Don't have any news on the Dolphins. Don't have any news on the Buccaneers. Do have something on the Bears. They did pick up the fifth-year option for 2027 on offensive tackle Darnell Wright. Rumor is the 2030 Super Bowl will be held in Nashville.
That's interesting.
I believe that's the new stadium.
Yes, when there's a set. Yeah,
people are already bitching and pissing and moaning. It's not necessarily good weather in Nashville. You know, all the media types.
Shut up, you snowflake pansies. Deal with it.
Yeah, I think they said the average temperature is somewhere around 50.
Who fucking who?
Live up here, northern Indiana, and see what it's like. And then this ephemeris, weird, we still don't know what it's going to contain yet, this 5-game standalone package that the NFL has been shopping. This includes the Wednesday game before Thanksgiving, the second Black Friday game, among a few others. Looks like it's going to go to YouTube, which is actually not a bad thing because it will be free. All these games will be free on YouTube.
Keep it off the fucking streaming services.
Well, again, it's not YouTube TV. This will be on YouTube.
But still.
You are confusing the fans.
Just stop the stupidity. That's why there's a lawsuit against you.
Yep. I did mention that last week. The DOJ looking into this. Seeing if they're violating the antitrust agreement. All right, college football. Real quick here. I think that's everything I had on the pros. College football. Once again, rumors are circulating. Now the Big Ten has a couple other people backing them up for a 24-team playoff.
We don't need a 24-team playoff. That's fucking stupid. It makes zero sense.
Can you believe that the voice of sanity in all of this is the SEC?
Yeah, I can.
That's saying, let's just dial it down a little bit.
Stop.
24 teams is ridiculous.
That's dumb as fuck. There's no reason for it. Oh my God.
Hopefully this will somehow hit a snag, hit a pothole, and will not happen anytime in the near future.
12 is fine.
Yeah, I don't even want 16.
No. 12 is fine. As long as they stop placating to certain conferences.
Well, that's why the Big Ten wants a 24-team playoff, because it will have guarantees in it that they get a certain number of spots.
Yeah, no. Bullshit. No guarantees for conferences. No. No. No.
Couple of little news tidbits on Alabama. Kalen DeBoer. This just broke a few hours ago. I thought the guy wasn't necessarily the most popular coach down in Tuscaloosa, but he gets a reworked, extended contract. This stuff drives me crazy. Where they rework it, but it's only technically a short extension.
Right.
It's like
so
a
now
2-year
it's
extension.
a total 7-year for $87.5 million. Seriously? How is this guy worth that much fucking money?
Yeah, this will run through the end of the season, the 2020 or 2032, 2033 season. But now, the buyouts, and you and I talked about this, I'm not sure how this works. I know it works on the one side for the coach. He's got a $10 million buyout in the next year. And then it drops by $2 million the next couple years each year after that. My question is, now that means if for some bizarre, ridiculous, insane reason he becomes a phenomenal head coach and another school or the NFL wants to poach him, it's a very, very reasonable buyout for him or for the team that wants to pay the buyout. My question is, does it work the other way as well?
I don't believe it does.
So Alabama's still on the hook for the full contract.
I think that's usually how it works, unless he's fired for cause.
See, then this is a ridiculous, stupid move on the part of Alabama.
Yeah, typically the buyout only works for the coach buying out to get out of the contract or another school paying it.
If that is the case, and I'm not doubting you.
That's typically how they go.
I'm not doubting you, but if that's the case, this is an idiotic move by Alabama.
Yeah, well, that's why. Look how much frickin' money that Brian Kelly got from LSU.
See, now, something in the back of my...
They tried to say they fired him for cause, but there was no cause, so they pay him the full amount. It would have dropped if he would have gotten another coaching job.
No, I agree with you about the first part. Yeah, they tried to fire him for cause, which means they wouldn't have to pay anything.
Right.
But I think the argument then became, because he had a large buyout, I thought that was the argument after they established the fact that they couldn't fire him for cause.
No, I think they had to pay him the contract.
See, I don't know. See, now I've got doubts. I don't think they paid him the full amount that was left on his deal.
We'll have to research it.
And then, of course, the guy who is supposed to be, we talked about this at the beginning with a little bit of our draft preview. Of course, next week we will have our full draft recap for you. And I'm still hoping against hope, even though people are trying to poo-poo Akeem Mesidor. Oh, he's too old. He's 25.
He's experienced and ready to start.
I'll still take him on the Bears. I don't care if he's 25 years old. I will take him. That you still get 7-8 years out of him.
Yeah, he's mature. You don't have to sit him.
Now we know everything worked out wonderfully for the Miami Hurricanes, as they got Darian Mensah from Duke to be the next quarterback who will lead the Hurricanes to the national championship, including a resounding victory here at the end of the year in northern Indiana. But
sure, a Duke quarterback, great.
Oh, and you guys had a Wake Forest quarterback a couple years ago. You got room to talk.
Look, and was I happy about it? No, not at all.
Ty Simpson, who was supposed to be somehow, some way, either late first, early second round, the second quarterback taken in a very, very weak quarterback draft. the news is out there that he turned down anywhere from $6.5 to $7 million from my beloved Miami Hurricanes. I hope he fails miserably. How dare you? We were offering you the keys to the kingdom. Cam Ward took the keys to the kingdom. Carson Beck took the keys to the kingdom. One of them was the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. The other one led the team to the national championship and will most likely be the 3rd quarterback drafted this weekend. Ty Simpson dares to turn his nose up at Miami Hurricanes money. Shame on him. Shame on him.
Would you really have wanted him?
I said, I'm fine with Mensa. I am fine with Mensa. And this is the pattern that we've established. So who's going to be next year's transfer that we pay $5 or $6 million to?
Yeah, because let's face it, Alabama quarterbacks at the NFL level are sketchy as fuck.
Completely agree. But there are some of these quote-unquote geniuses who are saying, oh, I see a lot of good stuff. Dan Orlovsky.
Oh, yeah, like anybody's going to listen to that doofus.
Thinks he's better than Fernando Mendoza. Ha!
Bullshit.
Please. Last time I checked, Ty Simpson was choking in the early rounds of the playoff. Right?
Yep.
Right?
Uh-huh. Never should have been in the playoff.
You're right. You can mark this down, write it down. Notre Dame should have been in instead of Alabama. I will say that.
I do not trust an Alabama quarterback. Tua. Puh. And we're seeing, Philadelphia, things are not all roses there despite winning a Super Bowl. That was primarily because of the defense and the offensive line surrounding it. Hurts.
Yeah, that was another
Hurts
team.
is not that good.
That was another team when I was thinking about Joe Burrow.
Philly.
Yep. Jalen Hurts is going to get one last shot here. When they ship out A.J. Brown, there's no more excuses. All right? Now, you and your head coach, Nick Sirianni, have got to make this work. You've got one of the smartest GMs in the NFL. He has surrounded this team year after year with top-level talent. You have one of the 3 or 4 best running backs in the NFL. Make it work. And I'm 100% with you. If it doesn't work, then we know, again, another Alabama quarterback, despite having a couple years, a good run for a couple years, has failed.
Look at who was protecting him. That's not there this last year. He struggled badly. He can't throw downfield. Tua, a disaster in Miami. Never should have gotten that big deal that they gave him.
Oh, we can look at what A.J. McCarron.
Oh, yeah.
But again, that's another Bama quarterback.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yep.
All right, I know how much Dave loves doing this. This will be a segue into something else. I don't know.
It's a segue to something.
But
it's a crapshoot, kids.
Frenzy 5-0, another great installment of Frenzy 5-0. We had one last week. We're bringing it back this week. Like I said, I know how much your Uncle Dave loves this. Let's start off with, hey, look, Dave, a former Georgia player.
What? Speeding?
No, not speeding. Former Georgia wide receiver Zachariah Branch, who is projected to be a day 2 pick, which means second, third round, arrested 2 misdemeanors, basically being a snotty little bitch, told to get off the sidewalk because he was blocking people, forcing them off the sidewalk. The police came by and said, back it up, buddy. People need to get
out
through
of the
here.
way.
Yeah. He laughed at them, basically smirked at them. At first didn't didn't acknowledge the police, and then finally, reluctantly moved a little bit, but still was blocking most of the sidewalk. This is my understanding of what I've read. So they said, hands behind the back, you're gone.
Good.
But yeah, no driving. No driving on. However,
However,
I have our second entry in Frenzy 5-0 this week, which might even be better.
stop being pompous assholes. You play a fucking game.
Did you hear about Coach K's grandson?
No.
This is a sad, sick commentary on our justice system. And you and I have always said this. Doesn't matter if it's here or on the weekend edition. We're talking about
Our justice system sucks ass.
favors famous
The
coaches,
criminals.
athletes, celebrities. Favors them, kisses their ass. Coach K's grandson, I will not name him, got charged with a misdemeanor DWI. Bear with me here. A misdemeanor DWI after hitting and killing a bicyclist.
How is it a misdemeanor? You're drunk driving and kill somebody. It's a felony. You're gone.
No, misdemeanor.
That's bullshit.
However, somehow with a misdemeanor, he did have to post a $100,000 bond.
Big
that seems
fucking
a little
deal.
Seems a little odd that a misdemeanor would have that high of a bond. So maybe the judge said something's not right here. So at least we're going to make it hurt to bond out. Let me point this out to you. His brother, yes, another grandson of Coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Scumbag. We've said it time and again.
And of course, the mother of these two upstanding young gentlemen is, of course, Coach K's daughter. And she works, yes, at Duke.
Oh, shocker.
Nepotism rules. The other brother, the other grandson, we talked about this here on Sports Frenzy at the very, very beginnings of this podcast, going all the way back to 2021 and 2022. And it did involve a guy on My Orlando Magic, one Paolo Banchero. Another DWI. This guy was driving a car, I believe, that was owned by Mr. Banchero. His brother got 12 months probation for that 2021 DWI. There's a problem in this family involving alcohol. Both brothers, both grandsons of Coach K, now involved in serious DWI issues. This one, the current one, involving a death.
He should be in jail.
But again, remember, kids, we would be in jail. Normal people, the commoners, we would be in jail. But if you're connected to a celebrity or a star athlete or coach,
You're fine.
you get this. Little tiny slap on the wrist. That's what you get.
Bad, bad, bad. Don't do it again.
But again, you and I do it, we're getting fucked in the ass by Bubba. 3 times during the week and twice on Sunday. Don't drop the soap. All right. Something that I'm going to tie into an interesting sports story and will also appear again at the end of the show. Did you hear about what happened in Beijing, China?
What happened in Beijing, China?
A humanoid robot named Lightning ran a half marathon, which is 13 miles.
13.3.
Okay, Mr.
No, wait, no, 13.1. 26.2 is a full, 13.1 is a half.
How the hell do you know this?
Because you see the stickers on the backs of cars.
I don't. All I ever see.
Oh, wait, you never go anywhere.
Anytime
You
I
got
go out,
clues?
anytime I go out, I always see the idiots with the coexist stickers. Those are always the ones that I get.
13.1, 26.2.
So this robot, nicknamed Lightning, over in Beijing, runs this half marathon faster than any human has ever run a half marathon. The human record is just over 57 minutes. I believe it's 57 minutes and 20 seconds. That is the human record for a half marathon. The robot ran it in 50 minutes and 26 seconds. Skynet is coming for us! And if you don't pay attention to this shit,
You're all going down.
I am not going to talk about the
I'm
NHL
surprised
playoffs.
the battery lasted that long.
Well, like I said, I've got an interesting twist on this at the end of the show. Not with the battery, but I think you'll find the antithesis to this very funny. Now, it's early in the playoffs in the NHL and the NBA. I am not going to get into detail on either one,
Nope, not worthwhile.
but I figured I'd give your Uncle Dave a minute or two, however long he wants to take, to wrap up the season for his beloved Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, youngest team in the league, second worst record. They've got a shit ton of draft picks coming up. They need to use them and trade for some veteran players who can help develop these young guys. They need to get older and tougher on defense because the defense is absolutely shit. They need some toughness. There you go.
They finished the year at 29, 39, and 14. 72 points. An improvement on last year.
Better than they have been, but they need to get experienced. They need veteran players.
Yep,
They need to improve the defense.
Last year they had 61, so an 11-point improvement from last year. And I should note,
And they got to do something if they want to keep Bedard happy because he's becoming an unrestricted free or a restricted free agent. He is a restricted free agent here. So they got to sign him and they got to do something.
Echoes of Joe Burrow here.
Yep.
Keep the superstar happy. Let the inmate run the asylum.
You got to bring people in because, come on. You can't keep doing this perpetual rebuild bullshit. It wears.
The one note I will make about the playoffs, the NHL playoffs, congrats to the Buffalo Sabres for winning their first playoff game since 2011. So hope springs eternal for everybody except the New York Jets.
No, it's Buffalo, New York, but still, it's the Jets.
It's the Jets. The Jets will always jet all over themselves. I'm hoping tomorrow night they do something stupid. I really am hoping they do something
They
stupid.
are going to do something stupid. They will probably draft Ty Simpson.
Hey, that's not funny. That could happen.
I know.
That could happen.
I know. That's what I'm expecting. What's the over-under on that one?
Well, and there are people that think he could. Do they dare draft him in Pittsburgh?
That would not be the most horrible decision.
Is he the second coming of Kenny Pickett?
Potentially.
Because they'd end up drafting him roughly in the same area, give or take a few picks.
Yeah.
But
They've got to do something because you can't rely on fucknut Rodgers.
boy, and I'll tell you, this is just a quick aside, going back to the NFL, as we are. Jacoby Brissett is making a huge mistake right now. Being a little petulant bitch and saying, well, I want starter money. I'm not reporting to camp. They could be in play for Ty Simpson.
They could be.
And tell Jacoby Brissett, go screw off, dude. You had a good half of a year.
How about you put a full season together and we'll see what you can do.
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't think this is a smart move by Brissett at all.
No, not even close.
I would have kept my mouth shut.
And said, thank you for my current paycheck and opportunity.
Thank you for making me the starter.
I will play now. Let me prove what I can do and earn the next contract.
Yep. Baseball,
not so very, very good.
Oh, it's good for the Cubs. I'm having a good time. The Chicago Cubs have won 7 games in a row. And if you'd have told me before the season started, you're going to be beating up on the Mets and the Phillies, I would have said, you're out of your fucking mind.
And how about that 12-game losing streak for the Mets?
Worst record in baseball. Second highest payroll and the worst record in baseball. Oh, but they're getting Juan Soto back tonight.
Ooh.
And by all accounts, he's already regretting signing the long-term deal with the Mets. He doesn't talk to his teammates. He doesn't talk to anybody in the organization. But what did they do? They cleared out all the guys who they thought were the problems. And it turns out they kept all the guys who are the problems, like Soto and Lindor.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, 7-16 for the Mets. And then the Phillies aren't much better. The Phillies are 8-15, and they've lost 7 in a row. Like I said, the Cubs have been beaten up on those two teams.
And here, my lowly White Sox are better than them at 9-14.
Yeah. Yep, White Sox are 4th in the AL Central, 3.5 games behind Cleveland as we record tonight. As I mentioned, Cubs are 14-9. They have moved up to 2nd. 1 game behind Cincinnati. That National League Central has turned out.
Pittsburgh, they have bottomed out.
No, but the thing is, the entire division is above 500.
They are, surprisingly.
The Cardinals. How the hell did the Cardinals do this?
I have no idea.
How the hell are the Twins? I am on record, and I am not backing off of it.
Twins 2nd in the AL Central.
I thought the Twins were going to be the worst team in baseball, along with the Rockies. And the Twins are actually playing halfway decent baseball.
Go figure. This is a weird early part of the season.
Yes, a lot of the favorites to go to the World Series. Toronto's struggling. Seattle is struggling. Philly, the Mets, lots of the favorites, the teams with the big payrolls, are really having trouble. Meanwhile, you've got Tampa Bay playing well. Again, they do every year. It's amazing how they play so well with such a small fan base and small payroll.
Padres have been on a tear.
Finally. That's a team that's finally...
They're finally finding their way.
That should have been this good a couple years ago.
Yeah, they should have been there last year. But, here we go.
But yeah, a couple guys I want to point out from our teams. Number 1 for you.
Murakami.
Munetaka Murakami!
Boom! Tearing the cover off the ball. 9 homers on the season so far. Right up there as the league leader.
Tied for 2nd in all of baseball.
Yep. And he's hit a homer in 4 straight games. Here, we're waiting to see if he can make it 5 straight.
Yep, and even though his batting average isn't anything to write home about, he does have a spectacular on-base percentage of .394.
Yeah, he takes the walks. So he strikes out a lot, but he does not make the most outs on the team. He will take the walk. And if he can find some consistency, getting some base hits, look out.
And of course, I would just like to point out
Nico Hoerner.
the last couple years I have been doing nothing but praising Nico Hoerner while the Cubs floated rumors out there that he was on the market. They were going to trade him. I would just like to point out that he should be in the discussion. I know it's early.
He's 5th in batting average overall.
326, 5th in batting average, as Dave pointed out. 402 on base percentage. 7 stolen bases, tied for 8th in Major League Baseball. 22 RBI, tied for 3rd in all of baseball. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, a prime candidate for your NL MVP. Fuck Shohei Ohtani, Nico Hoerner.
And while it's still early, I'm going to do a quick who's hitting over 300. We have, as we record this, 21 batters over 300.
That number will shrink.
It's small to begin with this early. And it will shrink significantly.
And I'm telling you, Nico will be in there at the end.
Nico will be in the top 5.
And finally, Council stopped dicking around and realized he's the leadoff hitter. He's the leadoff hitter. No shit.
Hap.
Nico should be the de facto leadoff hitter going forward. No changes, no way, other than a day off here and there. Nico Hoerner should be your leadoff hitter each and every game. And I loved when we were playing the Mets. I believe it was this past Sunday. And they had the 1-0 lead. The Mets had the 1-0 lead and the Cubs couldn't hit. And they came back and they tied the game in the 9th and it went into extras. And they, of course, you have your ghost runner. They put PCA on second as the ghost runner. He got moved over to third. So I believe it was 1 out. PCA's on third. Nico comes up. And Ron Coomer on the radio.
It's like they should just put him on.
Yeah. They said, why are they pitching to him? This is ridiculous. He's one of the best hitters in the league when it comes to driving in runs.
Yeah.
And they pitched to him, and what's he do? He hits a sac fly. Cubs win. Cubs win, extending the Mets' misery, which, of course, we all love outside of New York. Now, we mentioned the Padres. And I've never been to San Diego. I've driven past it when I was a young lad. But I've always heard great things about San Diego. Of course, they're getting a NASCAR race this year. I want them to be perfect. I want them to have some professional sports. The Chargers left, so the Padres are all they've got.
Yeah,
I remember back when I was a kid, they actually had what was an ABA team, a basketball team. But the Padres are going to stay in San Diego, hopefully, as they sell. Looks like for a record $3.9 billion. And just think about, what could the Cubs sell for right now?
Yeah.
If they went on the market, if the Padres are selling for $3.9 billion.
How much is Ishbia going to have to kick over to the Reinsdorf clan for the White Sox? Now, Ishbia's already purchased a plot of land for a new stadium.
There are some very interesting things going on sports-wise in Chicago, obviously. The Bears are going to have to make a decision here very soon. The league is getting antsy. And they're supposed to be meeting here in the next week or two.
But they're still waiting on the fucking Illinois legislature on what they're going to pass. And it sounded like there was a deal that was ready to be in place. Laws coming into effect that were going to allow the transition for Arlington. Then the teachers union had to rear their ugly heads and throw a monkey wrench in the entire thing.
Did not hear about this.
Yeah, because they had a deal in the works where the Arlington site property taxes were going to be capped for the Bears. No increases going forward for a certain amount of time. And the teachers union, well, we have to pay for education, and if we're losing the Bears from Chicago, people aren't going to go there, blah, blah, blah.
I did hear the Bears say, in a very political way, that it did have something to do with the fact that they can't resolve, at this point in time, the tax situation in Illinois. So that's obviously what they're referring to.
Yep, because they almost had it, and then at the last minute, the teachers union, probably at the pushing of Chicago's dipshit mayor, trying to keep them in Chicago.
Yeah, the idiot that wants reparations.
Yeah, that moron.
Well, it looks like Kansas City might have something figured out for the Royals to keep them around. The Royals have unveiled plans for a new downtown stadium, ballpark, entertainment district, that whole deal. Partnering with, wait for it, Hallmark cards. Dave, can I ask you something? Because I think next to me, you are the smartest man on the face of the earth. The last time I checked, the greeting card business isn't exactly flourishing.
Oh,
do you really
Lord.
want to go into business with Hallmark cards?
But they have the Hallmark channel.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're right. That's something, at least. I know. It's popular. It's popular.
I'm
right.
just saying.
You're right.
I'm just saying.
But when I hear Hallmark and see Hallmark cards, I immediately go, you're really going to partner?
Their Christmas ornaments are still super popular as well.
Yeah, I gave up on those years ago.
So,
but I believe you. I believe you. And if it keeps the Royals in Kansas City, I'm all for it.
Yep, since the Chiefs have bailed.
Yeah, they're moving across the river, right?
Yep. Cross state.
We just talked about the Padres. The Padres are all in. The Padres are trying.
The Padres made the move that the Cubs should have made.
Yep, I agree with you. The last good pitcher left out there.
Lucas Giolito.
Gets a one-year deal with the Padres. 2027 mutual option. I agree. With all the injuries the Cubs pitching staff has had, now I know they said Matthew Boyd's coming back, but still.
But,
could have used Giolito on the north side. You're right. You are absolutely right. Before we leave baseball, I have a question for you.
I have an answer. Let's see if they match.
I don't know if this is going to piss you off or you're going to call me an idiot. Either way is fine.
It could be both.
Yeah. When I say to you, is the strike zone in baseball two-dimensional or three-dimensional, what is your answer?
It's 3 because it's top down from your shoulder to your knee and the width of the plate.
The depth of the plate.
The depth of the...
Right.
No, the width. Not the depth, the width.
Well, then you're saying two-dimensional. That's two-dimensional.
Because, well, it is two-dimensional because it's a box.
No, that's three-dimensional.
It's bump, bump, bump.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Maybe I should clarify this.
Or are they trying to pull the depth? Well, it hit this portion of the plate. It's got to cross the corner of the plate.
Okay.
Or not the corner, the edge. The outer edges of the plate.
This is becoming more complicated than I thought it was going to be.
It's the outer edge of the plate from the batter's shoulder to knee.
What about the depth of home plate?
Doesn't fucking matter.
So, okay. So then you think it's two-dimensional. It is a square.
As long as the ball crosses the plate
No.
square.
Well, but again, a two-dimensional square. So if it crosses the front edge of home plate, but doesn't reach that two-dimensional square in the middle of home plate, you're saying that's a ball.
As long as it catches the plate.
So is it three-dimensional or two-dimensional?
Fine, it's three-dimensional.
No, it's not. It's two-dimensional. I found this out this past week.
Because the front edge of the plate is the wider part, and it narrows at the back.
They changed it this year.
What the fuck are they talking about?
This is why I wanted to ask you this question, because I did not realize they had changed home plate and how you call strikes.
You cannot change the fucking rules on what a strike is.
They have.
No. The ball has to cross the plate from the shoulder to the knee.
That part's not in dispute. The shoulder
edges.
to the knee is not in dispute.
You have to hit within the outer edges of the plate.
Right, but here's the thing. What they have done this year, and again, I was shocked when I heard this. The strike zone this year in 2026 is a two-dimensional square or rectangle. From the middle of the strike zone or the middle of home plate up, like you said, from the knees to the shoulders, left side, right side. It used to be three-dimensional, where it was the entire depth of home plate as well, where you could throw a slider.
It should. This is the front going to the pitcher. As long as the ball is right in there.
See, now Dave and I are making pictures for each other right now, kids. You're going to have to bear with me.
I pulled up an image of home plate. If we were on Twitch, you would know what we're talking about.
I'm going to show him what I'm talking about versus what he's talking about. So there's a terrible picture of home plate. You're going to have to bear with us here, kids. So what I'm saying that the current 2026 strike zone is that up. So if a pitch were to cross like that, that's a ball.
Because that's the back. The catcher is right there.
Okay, so how about this?
So as you're looking at it.
Okay, so I've got it upside down.
You got it upside down.
I've got it upside down. That's what she said. So again, the current strike zone is a flat, two-dimensional across the. Nope, it does not. This is where you and I are having issues. I would think it's all of this, right, up like a cube or like a polygon, right? As long as it goes between the knees, it's cut off at the knees, and it goes up to the shoulders. But they're saying that if a pitch were to do this, that's a ball.
That's a strike.
No, it's not, because it didn't hit the two-dimensional rectangle in the middle from the knees to the shoulders.
Baseball fucked everything up. That is a strike based on what...
No, because this is what I'm telling you. They've changed this year is because people who would throw a nice slider where it would catch the front part of the plate and then tail off or dive down. Either way, tail off to the right or left or dive. No, they're now saying this is in the middle of the plate is a two-dimensional rectangle.
They're fucking wrong.
So it has to cross halfway through home plate.
No, that's bullshit.
This is what I'm telling you.
That's bullshit.
This is what I'm telling you that has changed. It is not a three-dimensional figure anymore or whatever, a polygon, a hexagon, whatever.
Rob Manfred's a fucking moron who has no clue what the hell he's doing.
This is something else your Uncle Dave and I are going to have to discuss more. And we'll get back to you.
Baseball fucked it up.
But because of these changes, now that it is vertical across the center of home plate, instead of the three-dimensional, where the ball should be able to cross home plate, like you said,
It should just
knees
cross
and shoulders.
the plate between. It just has to cross, and it
Nope.
can.
Has to get halfway through this two-dimensional. Has to get through the two-dimensional plane halfway through.
No, that's
home plate.
bullshit.
We are now looking at, this is through April the 16th. Again, very early in the season. Because of these changes and how they're calling things now. We are now looking at this year a 9.9% walk rate in 2026. It is the highest walk rate since 1950 because they made these changes.
There's no...
I'm telling you, young man, you will figure this out eventually. I understand why it's confusing and frustrating.
It's bullshit is what it is.
It was confusing and frustrating to me when I saw this originally.
It's a stupid-ass rule change that has no reason to exist.
It basically is making your pitchers less effective because they can't throw a really nice hard slider and expect to get the call anymore because now it has to at least cross halfway through home plate.
No. Don't buy it. Don't buy it at all.
It can't just catch the front edge, is what I'm saying. Because, again, it's not three-dimensional anymore. It's two-dimensional. So it can't catch the front edge. Has to go at least through that halfway vertical plane.
Don't like it at all.
All right.
Don't like it. Don't buy it.
We've bored the kids enough with this. So, real quick here. Let's knock NASCAR out.
And did I say fuck Rob Manfred?
Oh, yeah. I think you pretty much say that every week.
Idiot.
I'm surprised you don't start off every episode with that.
May he rot in hell.
Welcome to Sports Frenzy 2.0. Fuck Rob Manfred.
He's an idiot who has no business running a major league. No business being in charge.
People seem to love him now.
He's an idiot!
Well, because they give him credit for the pitch clock and for now the ABS system.
2 things he got right. He's fucked everything else up.
And the worst thing for baseball, by the way, that we just talked about a few minutes ago that's happening right now, is when you have these small market teams playing well and the big payroll teams failing, oh my God, is that going to come up in negotiations this offseason? See? Just because you spend $300, $400 million doesn't mean the team's going to be good. So why don't you just let them keep spending $300, $400 million?
Because we don't want them to have every fucking player. We want to spread the wealth around to everybody.
We want to force...
We want the small market team to be able to keep that star.
Yeah, I would love to see the Pirates lock up Paul Skeens. And that's a team in my division.
Yeah,
but
the team should be able to keep their stars going forward instead of, oh, well, you can't pay me the fucking money that the Dodgers can, so bye-bye. No, yeah. I hate that crap.
Exactly. Now, we're not even a month in yet. So things could end up righting.
Things can autocorrect.
Yes. The ship could get righted in terms of payroll. You know, the Mets are the Mets. The Mets, I think, are a disaster. I don't think this...
It's New York sports at its finest.
I don't think it was constructed. The roster was not constructed properly.
No, they just spent money stupidly.
David Stearns is a small market GM, and he tried to construct this team as a small market GM, but overpaying too many players who weren't
overpaying the wrong players.
Right. The Phillies will get it figured out. A team like that, the Blue Jays will figure it out. The Seattle Mariners will figure it out. Those teams are too good. They're just off to rough starts. Let's check back with them when we get to the end of May, beginning of June.
Yeah. Let's see where everything is at All-Star break.
All right, NASCAR and racing. Now, of course, Kansas City was the race last week, the Kansas Speedway. Tyler Reddick, again, got the pole. got the win in overtime. The overtime was phenomenal. You want to talk about some good racing between him and Larson and Hamlin? That was awesome. And Bell was in there. That was... Now, given you had to invest hours to get to this point.
It was not a good race.
But Tyler Reddick wins for the 5th time in 2026.
I'm trying to think. I did not watch overtime. What the hell was I doing? I think I just...
That was the
this
best
race
part of the
sucks.
race.
I didn't know it was going to over. I was done with it. I didn't care because it's Kansas and I hate Kansas. So I was playing GT.
So Reddick wins. He has now won 5 of the first 9 races here in 2026. That has not happened since 1987.
The Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt. Boom, baby.
Yep. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was the last one to pull that off.
On his way to one of his 7 championships.
And all I'm going to say, and I have said this since he started on his little hot streak, and I'm not trying to rip on Tiny Ty, saying little, but this was the wrong year to do this. Last year, this would have been a much better year. He would have already locked himself into a huge lead going into the playoffs. But now, all these wins are not going to matter. He finishes first in the points. That's swell. He will start first when we get to the final 10 races, but the gap will not be as big as it would have been if we were factoring in bonus points for winning these races that you would get in the past.
Which is why you have to stop this final 10 race bullshit and just let the season run its course like they used to.
And of course, if we did that, then yes, he would have a huge advantage.
Which, you want to put a premium on wins? This is the year to do it. And knock out the stupid playoffs, which nobody likes anyway.
An interesting story. Do we call it a redemption story? Or do we call it a story where NASCAR admits maybe they overreacted? Live Fast Motorsports has announced they have got a driver they're bringing in for 4 Cup races here in the rest of 2026. I believe 3 of those include this weekend's race at Talladega and Daytona. 3 or the 4 are super speedways. Daniel Dye. Remember Daniel Dye?
Good Lord.
Basically got fired about a month ago.
Yes.
Run out in the Truck Series because he did the gay voice about the IndyCar driver.
Yeah.
Remember that? Well, now Daniel Dye's good enough to run in the Cup Series for 4 races. I believe he's running, like I said, the 3 super speedways that are left. So that would be 2 Talladega and a Daytona. And then he's running Pocono, I believe is the 4th. But talk about falling upward.
Yeah, no shit. Come on.
Gets canned, loses his ride in the Truck Series.
Wasn't that good in the Truck Series? How was he getting a Cup ride?
I don't know, but he is. And then, of course, as a public service announcement, we will report on IndyCar. Of course, F1 is shut down for the rest of April.
Yep, since they can't run in the desert.
IndyCar just had the Grand Prix of Long Beach. And we talk about Tyler Reddick on the NASCAR side. Alex Palou wins at Long Beach. He has won 3 of the first 5 races on the IndyCar schedule. And all this gets us to our picks for race 10 of the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series.
The Jack Slinks 500 from Talladega.
I love me some Jack Links. Love me some Jack Links.
The 2.6 mile high bank super speedway.
That, of course, is coming this Sunday, April the 26th. Our 8 expert panelists, another miracle All 8 have their picks in. Of course, always takes a little bit of nudging and cajoling on my part. And sometimes your Uncle Dave has to jump in with his wife.
Yep, I reminded her as I was tying my shoes as I was getting ready to leave to come over to tape this brilliant podcast.
So why don't we start off with her pick, because half of the panel...
Half the panel is taking Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's a crapshoot. It's a super speedway. I'm just going to stick... In this case, even though we have to approach things a little bit differently this year, I'm still sticking by my guns in that I am not going to waste a top-level racer on a super speedway.
That's this year where I'm at with my pick. Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, you said Jen, along with Nick, Aaron, and Sam.
All taking Ryan Blaney.
Which is a great pick.
It's a good pick. Runs well there. Bill trying to go back-to-back with Tyler Reddick.
Can I tell you a story? I thought I was going to have a problem this week with Bill.
No.
Because, of course, he sent his pick in. And then he's off to Aruba, by the way.
Oh, God.
Aruba, Jamaica.
What about Kokomo?
But, so he sends his pick in. He says he says, next 2 weeks. Here's what I'm taking the next 2 weeks. Like, okay. So he takes Tyler Reddick this week. And then, of course, I decided, let's just get my pick out of the way. You know, I try to be fair. If I've got my pick, I'm not going to change it. I'm sending it out. Because I have to compile it. And I have to compile everybody. So, yes, there are times when I see everybody's pick before I get mine done. Other times, I'm just going to try to do it early, be fair.
And you let Bill and I know.
Right. So I took Bubba Wallace. But I also tend to get a little wordy and explain my pick, exercising my creative writing for you guys. So I explained that I don't trust a back-to-back.
Even though he's done it already this year.
Right, but I just said I probably would have taken Reddick if he hadn't won at Kansas. But I don't trust him on a back-to-back. I don't want to waste him on a super speedway now, so I'm taking Bubba. Bill emails me back and says, did I mix up my picks?
No.
And I'm like, don't pull that shit. No. Now that you know my pick, you don't get to change your pick.
Yeah, no. It does not play that way.
So I sent him a carefully worded email saying, your pick's fine. I would have taken him if it wasn't for the fact that I'm just very skittish about the whole back-to-back thing, dude. You're fine. I got your picks. Calmed him down. Because if he was going to try to change picks, I said, no, you can't do that. Even though it's before the deadline.
You already sent me your 2.
Yes. And you know now who I'm picking. You don't get to do that. So, yes, I'm taking Bubba Wallace. Usually runs very well at Talladega and on the super speedways. But again, I don't mind wasting his pick if it all comes down to that.
Normally, I would have been there with you. I don't like the way he's been running of late.
Yep. And I think he burned you last year, was it?
He just burned me at...
Oh, at Daytona?
Or no, I took Bowman at Daytona.
Okay, so probably was last year then.
Could have been. Normally, I would have gone with Bubba with you there, but I don't like the way he has been running of late. So I thought, where else am I going to take Austin Cindric?
Except for a super speedway.
Except for a super speedway where he's won at Dega. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah. And I've picked Austin Cindric in the past many times at super speedways. Understand your logic completely.
And
I
again,
feel the same way about Cindric, though, you feel about Wallace right now.
Yeah.
Is that every time I take Cindric, despite the fact he has had success at the super speedways, every time I've taken him in the last couple of years, he's burned me.
So
So you know what's going to happen? They're going to wreck each other in lap 14.
Probably. Doug.
That
Doug.
one, yeah,
Doug,
I don't understand Doug.
What is Doug thinking?
He's
Why?
second. I believe he's second or third in points among the 8 of us.
How? I don't know. With a pick like this, how is he up there? Why do you burn Shane Van Gisbergen, your road course ringer? Why do you burn him on a super speedway where he does not run well?
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
If he fucking wins, I quit. I'm done. I'm out, Jerry.
I'm out of the contest. All right, so to recap.
Am I wrong?
No, absolutely not. No, my whole strategy this year has been which of the road courses am I going to use SVG on? Because we got 4, I believe, and I have to find the 3 that I want to use him on. I'm not using him on a super speedway. No. We love Doug. We do. Yeah. Maybe we'll kind of act like we're going to add pickleball.
Do we send a short bus to pick him up for our dinner?
Yeah, we're getting together next month for Sports Frenzy. We better lay off because him and Nick are usually the ones that never show up.
I know.
So, any chance we've got, he actually responded.
At least he responded.
And said, here are the dates I'm available.
Well, okay. He also did that the last time, too.
Yeah. All right, so Doug takes SVG to recap. Bill takes Tyler Reddick. Dave takes Austin Cindric. Kev takes Bubba Wallace. And the other 4, Jen, Nick, Sam, Aaron, go with Ryan Blaney for the Jack Links 500 at Talladega Super Speedway. Not just Speedway, a Super Speedway. All right. Before we go any further, I know we've already confused the issue enough here with your Uncle Dave and I discussing 2D versus 3D strike zones without diagrams to show you kids. And no, we're not going to change to a video podcast.
No, because this is a podcast. Audio only on Spotify, Good Pods, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, CastBox, Amazon, and iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby. And the UB2B.
Did you skip Audible?
I might have skipped Amazon, Audible, and iHeart.
Okay.
Sports Frenzy.
And then, of course, you have...
I went through them a little quick.
Then you have the Facebook page. Don't forget the Facebook page where we post every week our NASCAR picks and our baseball picks.
And that's your opportunity to let us know your thoughts and opinions.
And then, of course, we have the weekend edition, the great and glorious weekend edition, your Saturday morning hangover cure. Every Saturday morning, of course, this week will be April the 25th, where we nurture you, we guide you through your headache, your throbbing, unfulfilled penis, as you get the eggs, the bacon, the coffee going, and we guide you through the best politically incorrect entertainment podcast out there this week.
You keep forgetting we have female listeners as well.
No, I see them on OnlyFans. I do. I do. I pay. This week, we will be reviewing new on Amazon Prime, Balls Up. New comedy starring Marky Mark, Mark Wahlberg, and Paul Walter Hauser. We will get you caught up on the first 3 episodes of The Boys. And then, of course, for music, we're going to review a documentary on Hulu.
What? I know, right? Crazy talk.
Billy Idol should be dead. So all that fun stuff coming up this weekend for you kids. But for right now, back to sports. I do have a couple of Clint Eastwood badasses of the week because it can't be all about negativity.
We are positive from time to time.
I know. We try. We try.
We look for it.
It's just this world loves to beat you down.
Nico Hoerner. I praise Murakami, who could be the Rookie of the Year in the AL this year.
And I will also, believe it or not, praise somebody who we normally denigrate, bash. Mike Trout. Mike Trout actually, fingers crossed, everybody. Again, we're not visual. Cross your fingers for Mike Trout.
It's still the first month of the season.
If he stays healthy, he could end up having a very, very good year. He became the first visiting player ever to homer 4 straight days at Yankee Stadium. Not just the new version, we're including the old Yankee Stadium as well. Again, first visiting player ever to homer 4 straight days at Yankee Stadium. Pretty impressive accomplishment.
He is a very good player when he's healthy. When he can stay healthy.
Then, of course, I want to give it up to the University of Stanford. Did you kids know that Stanford is currently riding a 50-year, yes, 50-year streak where they have had at least one or more in every academic year, one or more team championships.
Wow.
126 total national championships. We're not talking conference championships here. We're talking national championships.
Be it across any sport.
Male or female, men's, women, that's fine. 126 total national titles since the streak began in 1976. And by the way,
you've got volleyball and
all
golf
that good stuff,
and everything.
By the way, 138 total national championships for Stanford. That is number 1 all-time Division I.
That's impressive.
So kudos to Stanford. Congrats.
Bravo.
Now, of course, that does not include the big ones. The football title.
Basketball.
I think they might have a basketball title, but you have to go way back.
Yeah.
All right. It's time for your stick and ball update, as I like to call it. Time for golf. My weekly golf update. The RBC Heritage this past weekend was awesome. I had that on at the same time as I had the NASCAR Kansas race. Went to a playoff.
Playoff?
And once again, Scotty Scheffler's slow start killed him. He fights all the way back, forcing a playoff with Matt Fitzpatrick at 18 under. But then when they go back to play 18 again, basically, you guys should know, the playoff rules change depending on the venue, depending on the course. Sometimes it's 1 hole, sometimes it's 3 holes, sometimes they play a full 18 holes on Monday. The RBC Heritage just plays the 18th over and over and over again. And unfortunately for Scotty Scheffler, the first time they replayed the 18th, bad second shot, whereas Matt Fitzpatrick put his second shot right near the hole. So just like at the Masters, Scotty Scheffler finishes second.
He really needs to pull his head out of his ass on day 1.
Yeah, he is really getting off to some terrible starts Thursday and Friday. Really. And then he turns it on Saturday and Sunday, and
but
he
it's
puts
too
himself
little, too late.
He puts himself in a position like this. LIV Golf, supposedly in trouble, supposedly in dire straits. I guess even the Saudis don't like to flush billions of dollars down the toilet.
Well, no, they've got too much infrastructure they have to rebuild from the Iranian rocket attacks.
So supposedly, even though they're saying that this full 2026 season will go on as scheduled. There is no guarantee going beyond 2026 as the Saudi Arabia PIF, the Public Investment Fund, might be done. They might say enough is enough as they have invested $5 billion in LIV Golf over the last 5 years.
And it just hasn't taken off quite like they'd hoped.
Now, I heard a really good comparison, though. That it's going to, when we look back at this, LIV Golf is going to basically be like the ABA and the AFL in the effect it had on the PGA Tour. It forced them to change the way they do the tour events, forcing the top players to play more, to give them more money, to change the pay structure. So
we'll see how it all shakes out.
Now, you know, my one thing about this is that, and poor Brooks Koepka is the one that really got it up the ass.
Yeah.
You know, with all the
bullshit that they made him do.
Yeah, the penalties and all the money he had to give. Now you watch. If LIV Golf folds after this year, you watch. The PGA Tour will all of a sudden say, "Oh, we'll take you guys back, no problem." And poor Brooks
is going to say, "Hey, where's my fucking refund, bitch?"
Yeah. And another big change before we get off of golf. And yes, we're finally going to talk about basketball. As much as I don't want to.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Why?
Public service. Public service, Dave.
They're in the playoffs. There you go.
But the PGA Tour made a very important announcement. And I think it's because they're trying to save money. They're trying to cut costs. They have decided for the 2027 PGA Tour, they will not play any events in Hawaii. For the first time in 56 years.
Wow.
They usually start the season off with 2 events right off the bat in Hawaii. Not next year. They've come out and they've said it's just, the travel is too much. You know, it's easier for us to keep these tournaments here in the 48 states. Save all that money, but of course, now Hawaii's come back and said that is going to cost us tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
In which the impact to the local economy. Yep.
Idiots. Once again, screwing everything up.
All right, here is your basketball update, kids. The playoffs, as your Uncle Dave said, have begun. There have been some surprises. The Magic, my Orlando Magic, actually woke up after getting their asses handed to them in the first play-in game as the 76ers beat them down. Then they bounced back and decided, hey, maybe we should start playing like the team we were supposed to be the whole fucking year. So they beat down on the Hornets to get the number 8 seed, and then they go to Detroit and win game 1 against the Pistons.
Yep, and right now with 7:32 to go in the fourth, live update, the Pistons are up 89-70.
Which I figured.
Which you knew was going to happen.
Now it all depends on how the Magic play the next 2 games.
At home.
Yep. How are they going to play at the Kia Center?
Are they going to be able to steal that road win and maintain the advantage?
Right. Yeah, because right now, even if the Pistons win tonight, and it looks like they're going to, the Magic actually technically right now still have home court advantage.
Right.
After stealing game 1.
Yep. That's what you like to see.
Now, we also saw this happen with the Knicks and the Hawks, the Celtics and the 76ers. Philadelphia steals game 2.
Oh, man. That was huge for them.
In Boston. Then in the Western Conference, the Trailblazers beat the Spurs last night in San Antonio.
Yep. major concerns for the Spurs with Wemby falling hard early in the second quarter in concussion protocol.
Which almost guarantees he will not play at least one, if not two games.
Yep.
Because it's got to be 48 hours before they even start to consider putting him through all the tests and everything. Right. He has to basically sit for 48 hours, just leave him alone.
Yep. Just rest.
Now, we should give kudos to Mr. Wembayama, as he became the first ever unanimous Defensive Player of the Year.
Kudos to him for that.
Kind of surprised when I heard that. That's never, since they established that award in the early 80s, nobody's ever won that unanimously.
Yeah, well, he seems to be the only one who's willing to play defense anymore.
And then, of course, we talked about it last week. Now, the slap on the wrist came through. Of course, the play-in tournament with the Hornets and the Miami Heat, where LaMelo Ball basically tripped. There's the horn of disgrace for you, kids. Basically tripped Bam Adebayo, knocking him out for the rest of the game. Oh, he got fined $35,000.
Whoop-de-fucking-do. He should have been tossed from that game.
The next game, too.
Well, yeah. Ugh,
but of course,
pathetic.
Adam Silver loves to talk tough, and then, just like Rob Manfred, ends up being a pussy. Case in point, Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham appeal the 65-game minimum in order to be eligible for postseason awards. You have to play at least 65 out of 82 games. This was put in play because of all the load management bullshit. But Luka and Cade say, no, we have extenuating circumstances, so they get a pass. But somehow Anthony Edwards
doesn't.
Yeah, he is told, no, you are not eligible.
So how many games did he miss because of injury?
This is a slippery fucking slope.
How many games were missed because of the collapsed lung?
Yeah, if anybody has a legitimate reason to be able to appeal this, it's Cade Cunningham. That's a legitimate injury.
That's a legit issue where you can't breathe, you have to get back. Luka, come on. Really? With all your early load management bullshit, you knew you had a kid on the way. You should have figured it out ahead of time, dumbass.
Yep, great point. That's why basically he got the waiver or whatever you want to call it is because of his kid. The birth of his child.
Birth of his new child.
But yeah, here's the thing.
Plan ahead.
Here's the thing.
You know the rules.
I don't have a problem if somebody wants to appeal this if they legitimately missed all of these games. 17, 18, 19, whatever the case may be, due to a legitimate injury. But if you decide early in the year,
I'm going to load manage myself,
and then something pops up that puts you below,
you knew was coming.
Don't sit out. Don't sit out. Look at it like a normal goddamn human being, where you say, I'm going to save my vacation time. I'm going to save my sick time.
For when I need it.
I woke up with the sniffles, I'm okay. I'm not going to take a sick day.
Until I'm puking my guts out.
Right. But these idiots, these pampered fucking babies.
I just don't feel like playing tonight.
Game 8 of the season. They go,
it's a back-to-back. I can't do the second
it's in Memphis? No thanks. And then now they whine and bitch and cry at the end of the season and go, I want my award. I want my award. Why won't you let me have my award?
Because you're a pansy-ass bitch who can't play a full fucking season.
And of course, par for the course, they're claiming that viewership. Now this is, of course, late last week. So I'm saying this through late last week.
Record
Viewership
numbers?
is up 86% from last year.
Bullshit.
The highest regular season total in 24 years.
Bullshit.
Now, I will admit this. I did this last week while you were off. I will mention it again. Yahoo Sports is the one outlet, the one major sports outlet who is actually behaving like us in this respect. They're pointing out, when these numbers are put out there, why a possible reason why we're seeing this record viewership. So last week they mentioned with the Masters. I know I talked about this with the kids last week. I'll bring you up to speed. Last week they talked about how the Masters was the most watched golf telecast in 7 years. Yahoo Sports pointed out, however, you have to remember Nielsen, which is the Lord God King of TV and streaming viewership numbers, is using a new methodology.
Isn't that convenient?
Which is why we're seeing a spike in all these numbers. Now, this week, I give Yahoo Sports credit when we talk about the regular season viewership up 86% over last year. They are quick to point out, keep in mind, a lot of the games that were on cable on TNT last year are now on NBC. So they went from cable to over the air.
Oh, that would make more sense.
But of course, again, kudos to Yahoo for being the only ones to have the guts to point this out and say, well, yeah, these numbers look inflated. Here's why. And I will still dispute it anyway.
Well, yeah. Maybe the casual fan now might pop on. Or if they're waiting to watch something else and tune in late, the viewership is there.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing. Is that I think we talked about this a few months ago. The window, the little teeny tiny window for you to count as a viewer, I think it's like 8 minutes. If you watch 8 minutes of something, don't quote me on that, kids. But it's such a small amount. If you watch anything, sporting event, show, on Netflix, movie, on HBO Max, whatever it might be, you count as a viewer.
Yeah. See, I don't trust things, so if there's something I really could give two rip shits about that's on, if I'm going to go to streaming, if it's on the cable, I will change the channel to something else so it doesn't get any credit. I don't know if they play that game either.
Well, like I said, I think it's 8 minutes is what the number is now.
But even if it starts and I put something else on, is it still tracking that that's the last channel that I had on? Even though now I'm watching a streaming service? Do they play that game? Do they track that shit somehow?
And I would assume with the DVR, I have to actually watch it. Even if I record something and never watch it, I don't think I would count as a viewer, right? They can't count me as a viewer just because I recorded it.
I have no idea.
It is all such a clusterfuck. You know what else is a clusterfuck? The Chicago Bulls, kids. The Chicago Bulls are a clusterfuck.
They have been since they let Jerry Krause go. They have been an absolute train wreck disaster. Despite fans not liking Krause, that's when they were a dynasty. Since then, they've been shit. You had, well over a decade of Paxson and Foreman running the show, running them into the ground, doing nothing. And then you brought this dip fuck from, who was he with? Karnashevitz. I can't remember where he was. Supposedly the front office that had come close to a championship or whatever. He's been as bad, if not worse, than Paxson and Foreman.
Yeah, I can't. He wasn't from OKC, was he?
I can't remember. Arturas Karnisovich,
Yeah, not sure.
whatever,
Not
AK
sure.
as they called him. Absolute disaster. Did nothing to bring talent to the Bulls. And now gave Billy Donovan nothing to work with. Finally, Billy said, nope, not going through this anymore. Bring in a whole new group to run it. I'm out. Want nothing to do with it.
And again, the timing, you and I discussed this, the timing is a little weird because if he'd done this when they cleaned the front office out.
Yeah, if he said, you know what, I'm done, he would probably be the new head coach for North Carolina.
Right. So now, in an interesting twist, now I came up with this first, but I've heard other people, they didn't know I came up with this, but I've heard other people, I'm telling you kids, I came up with this first, and then other people decided, somehow, we'll glom onto the Maestro's idea. The full circle Florida idea. Because now in Golden State, Steve Kerr sounds like he is going to call it quits. Hasn't made it official yet. Supposedly they are targeting Florida head coach Todd Golden. If Todd Golden would make that leap from the Gators to the Warriors, all of a sudden,
Billy go back to Florida?
wouldn't that be interesting to see Billy Donovan go back where he won 2 national championships?
Could be intriguing. But if Billy wants to stay in the NBA, Milwaukee Bucks have an opening since they shit-canned Doc Rivers.
Yeah, but the only thing with that, you don't know what you're getting because does Giannis really want to stay?
Maybe he hated Rivers that much.
But do you really want to gamble if you're Billy Donovan? You'd have to sit down and talk to him.
Maybe you have to have the conversation.
Yeah.
Before anything.
Yeah. If I come here, will you commit? And if he says no, they said, well, then I don't want the job because it's going to be a shit job.
Yep.
Even if you get Damian Lillard back from his injury.
Yeah.
All right, WNBA talk. All right, the Indiana Fever is the only team I care about because that's the home team here. They have signed Aaliyah Boston to a 4-year, $6.3 million extension. So they've basically locked up everybody. So the expectations are going to be sky high. And that, of course, includes one Sophie Cunningham, who is coming back on a 1-year deal, which there were reports out there that she was not happy. She wanted a multi-year deal. Instead, she signs for a 1-year deal. Why did she want a multi-year deal? Well, she wanted to buy a house in the Indianapolis area. She wanted someplace. She put down roots for her, her dog, and her donkey. And that's all I have to say about that. Dave wasn't expecting that.
Don't you have to go south of the border for that?
Just don't get the donkey cocaine. As Dave and I were talking about Bachelor Party, the classic flick from the 80s earlier. That is not a joke.
How about Clerks 2?
And believe it or not, that is not a joke. That is actual fact. That she owns a donkey. And she just wanted a place.
She wanted a place for her little mule.
Yeah. Her ass. I got a place for her ass.
Hey!
It's called the Maestro's face. Oh, did I say that out loud? Might have to go upstairs, move some lines, some red yarn on the chart.
And we did just see the Super Troopers 3 preview with the t-shirt, mustache rides 25 cents.
Hey, that's my shirt. It's a great sex shirt. We'll talk more about that on the weekend edition.
Preview.
All right, let's start to wrap this puppy up. Moments of silence in the world of sports. One of significance that I saw, and that is, now last week, again, you weren't here, Phil Garner passed away last week.
Yeah.
Which is a great baseball player from when I was growing up. Maybe the name doesn't mean that much to the current generation of younger fans.
No, he was a hell of a player.
Now this week we've got another one. Now this guy's was a little bit younger, unfortunately. Passes away at the age of 53, but this was another guy I remember from watching baseball in my 20s. Garrett Anderson.
Ooh.
Garrett Anderson was a stalwart player for started California Angels and then became the LA Angels. Played for the Angels for 15 years.
Cornerstone for them during that time.
He was part of the 2002 World Championship team, the team that won the World Series. Mike Scioscia, of course, was the manager. He was a 3-time All-Star, and that included the MVP and the winner of the Home Run Derby in the 2003 All-Star game.
Yep. Thoughts and prayers to his family and friends.
Yep, I remember him. And
just a solid player.
Dependable player. Again, 15 years he played with the Angels. And at 53 years old.
God.
I believe he was their play-by-play guy. Again, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he was the play-by-play guy for the Angels. All right, with that, we have to do what, Dave?
Pivot.
Oh, we're going to have some fun. It is time for the Red Foreman Dumbasses of the Week.
Let's find out which lucky contestant will win the Golden Boot Up the Ass as our Red Foreman Dumbass of the Week.
All right, let's knock these out, shall we? Let's start off with the draft, which we are, again, going to be partying hardy for tomorrow night, at least the first round. This will not be something that will happen in the first round. This will happen Friday night. Ugh. Why do we have to do something for everything?
Oh, God. Are we having a special guest MC for the night?
Heinz.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
Heinz is now introducing, this year, going forward, what they are calling Mr. 57. And, of course, the great Devin Hester is in on this because he was the 57th pick in the draft in 2006 with our beloved Chicago Bears.
And this year's draft, the Chicago Bears have the 57th pick.
Conspiracy theory, by the way, somehow, someway, Pittsburgh will get that pick. Because, of course,
it's in Pittsburgh.
And where do the Steelers play?
Heinz Field.
But here's the thing, okay? Beyond the fact that, again, we have to give a reward. A day. Everybody gets a day. Everybody gets a month.
Come on. Ketchup for life?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Come on.
The main selling point on being Mr. 57 is that you get Heinz ketchup for life.
Works for me.
Oh, come on. I hate ketchup.
I like Heinz ketchup. It's the best. I'm all in on that.
And then supposedly you get a special jacket.
The red jacket with the Heinz 57
and
label
you get
with
some
the
kind
NFL
of a
logo.
job with them, too.
Probably a promotional thing.
See, now, I think this is idiotic. And you're all in on this. You would love to be Mr. 57.
I would. I could deal with the ketchup.
See, I would rather be Mr. 69.
You're not getting any anyway.
Where's Sophie? Where's Sophie? With my luck, I'd get the donkey. The NBA just has to, again, this is another example as we move on. Another example of we got to give awards to everybody. Everybody gets something.
There's
the
a
57th
There's
pick
a
in the draft.
sponsorship deal for everything.
The NBA, as they announce day by day the awards.
So is the first round pick going to wind up getting the A1 Steak Sauce Award?
I'm not even talking to you right now. You and your love of ketchup. The worst condiment ever.
Wrong.
Ever. The NBA has come up with the clutch player of the year. Now this year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won it, but it's not about ripping on him. It's about the award. So now we have
They
come
have
up
to
with
create more things to keep people entertained.
The qualifications for the clutch player of the year involve how many points you scored during the regular season in games in the final 5 minutes when the score was within 5 points.
Gee, how about how many game-winning shots did you hit? Wouldn't that be the clutch player? The one who hit the most game-winning shots? I'm just throwing it out there.
It'd be a hell of a lot easier to understand than who scored the most points in the final 5 minutes of games where the score was within 5 points.
No, how about how many last-second shots did you hit to win the game? That's clutch.
Makes more sense to me. Makes a lot more sense to me.
And it's less confusing.
But again, we talked about a few weeks ago how we've had so many blowouts this year.
Bingo.
So how many times do we have a game-winning shot?
Not that many.
Dave loves soccer, kids. If you didn't know this, Dave loves soccer. So this one's just for him.
Like the wart on humanity.
This one's just for him. And I know he loves New York, too. We know the World Cup is coming to MetLife Stadium. Oh, wait! We can't call it MetLife Stadium because the World Cup says you have to change the name of the stadium since we don't recognize MetLife as a sponsor for the World Cup. So now it's going to be relabeled for the World Cup, the New York, New Jersey Stadium. But that's not even
bullshit.
But that's not even why they're dumbasses. The New York, New Jersey, whatever, Transit Authority, whatever they are, usually it takes you, and this is reasonable for New York, $12.90 train fare to travel from New York to New Jersey. Oh, wait, but for the World Cup to travel from New York to New Jersey, to travel to whatever you want to call it, MetLife or New York, New Jersey Stadium.
$100?
$150.
Bullshit.
For a round trip train fare.
No.
$150, usually $12.90. And by the way, there is no on-site parking. So they basically are bending you over a barrel on this.
Yeah. And forget a reasonable taxi or Uber ride. You're going to be paying out the ass. Or paying with your ass.
How do you like that? How you liking Mamdani, your new mayor?
Fuck the people. Oh, gee, wasn't he supposed to be Mr. Socialist, making everything affordable for the common person and taxing the rich?
Yeah,
and here he's bringing this in where the rich can afford to do anything?
Yeah, well, he had his plan for all the city-run grocery stores.
Yeah.
And he had a plan, I think, for at least 5 to 7 of them. But he had a budget that he put out there.
Yeah.
And he's blown through almost the entire budget for one.
Yeah.
For one store.
Idiot. I hope you're happy, morons.
All right. This might seem a little cruel, a little heartless, but hey, that's me. I'm sorry, but if you are a professional skydiver, maybe you don't want to crash into the scoreboard at the stadium where the team has hired you for this celebratory spring game.
Wind shear.
This happened at Virginia Tech. Not a good omen for James Franklin's regime now as he takes over. A skydiver crashed into the Virginia Tech scoreboard at their spring game, delaying the start of the game as they had to send in rescue crews to get the guy down as he dangled from the scoreboard.
Wow.
Hey, look at it this way. Now, I don't know if they sell alcohol at Virginia Tech.
But hey,
That's
you get a few extra beers.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The revenue for the school on that.
Yeah. Extra hour, as they delayed the start of the game, extra hour of beer
drinking.
Sales and food, and All right, we just talked about the NBA and those lazy assholes. Now, first I want to point out the fact Joel Embiid is not playing yet in the playoffs for Philadelphia. We mentioned Victor Wembanyama now could be injured and out. The Lakers have been without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and somehow have still won 2 games. Here's part of the reason why. One of the most overrated fucking players ever in the NBA, and I have no problem saying it, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant sat out the first game for the Houston Rockets in the playoffs against the Lakers because his right knee was sore.
It's the fucking playoffs, you bitch.
I have never liked Kevin Durant. Never. And yes, he's got his titles he got with Golden State, and you can't take those away from him. But outside of that, what has he ever done? What has he ever won? He stole money from the Brooklyn Nets.
Yep, sat out how long?
Now he's stealing money from the Houston Rockets. And he's a compiler. He is a compiler. That's all he is. And I honestly don't think he's one of the top 40 basketball players of all time.
No, he's not.
Even though he'll end up finishing in the top 5 all time in scoring.
He's useless.
All right, we'll go back to golf here as we wrap things up. Got 2 more to go. Love hypocrites. Note sarcasm. Love hypocrites. Max Homa criticized his fellow golfers for temper tantrums and outbursts on the golf course. I think he was specifically pointing to Sergio Garcia, who broke a club at the Masters. Well, guess what Max Homa did at the RBC Heritage this past weekend?
He broke his driver?
He threw his club. I believe it went about 15 yards.
Oh, idiot.
Don't call the kettle black, pot. Don't do it. Then finally, yes, I referenced the glorious technological achievements over in Beijing of a humanoid robot running faster than a human being in a half marathon, setting the new record. But nobody seems to want to talk about what happened with another robot in the same race. Another robot tripped and fell, and somehow this set something off in the robot where it got back up, started to break dance, and tore itself into pieces. And there are hysterical pictures of these people over in Beijing. You know, they got the masks on because they all have to wear masks all the time.
Because of all the pollution.
Having like an old school mash gurney with this robot. All the shattered, broken pieces of the robot on this gurney. So maybe Skynet won't take us all and kill us all after all. There you go, kids.
God.
To summarize, so your Uncle Dave knows who he's voting for. He's obviously not voting for the Heinz Mr. 57 award, since he loves ketchup so much.
Yeah, that's the least egregious of the night.
The NBA coming up with this ridiculous Clutch Player of the Year award. The $150 round-trip train fare for the World Cup in New York, New Jersey. The skydiver crashing into the scoreboard at Virginia Tech. Kevin Durant skipping a playoff game early on for right knee soreness. Max Homa criticizing golf outbursts and then throwing his club 1 week later. And then the humanoid robot falling, breakdancing, ripping itself into pieces.
Oh, let's go with Mad Max.
Yeah, he's a hypocrite. I'm going with New York. You and
I'm not surprised. Anytime the World Cup or any of these big events come around, they're going to money gouge the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah, and like everybody knows, FIFA is the most corrupt sports organization in the world.
Yeah. What gives them the right to tell the stadium they have to rename it? Fuck them. You want to play here? You're playing in our stadium. Screw you. We don't want you. Go somewhere else.
But you and I, of course, these kids aren't listening to the weekend edition, and if you're not, what the hell's wrong with you? You know, they should know that we are on a boycott of the Ruoff Music Center outside of Indianapolis because of this kind of bullshit. And if we're going to stand up against them, then I'm standing up against this FIFA World Cup bullshit. You can't go from $13 to $150.
That's ridiculous.
And then, of course, the lack of leadership in that state, where they didn't stand up and go, no, you can't do this to our citizens, our people. And so they go, okay, go ahead, do whatever you want. You're the World Cup.
Because we're going to get money regardless. Dirt, dirt, dirt. New York City, we're going to get all this money from FIFA so we can have our free grocery stores.
Kevin Durant was probably a close second.
I was going to do the NBA period.
But, you know.
I was going to double up on the NBA.
If we're going to do Heinz Mr. 57, I want to do Mr. 69. Who has to come out and perform cunnilingus on Roger Goodell on the stage. Well, no. Would that be fellatio or cunnilingus? I think, which one is it? I always
fellatio on a penis, cunnilingus on a vagina.
Okay, so it had to be fellatio on Roger Goodell.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking you.
No, does Roger have a penis or does he have a vagina?
That's a good question. That's a legitimate question.
Ergo, I can't blame you for being confused because nobody knows for sure.
That will do it for the latest spectacular, wonderful, politically incorrect, if you couldn't figure that out by now, edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. Welcoming back your Uncle Dave, the Conquistador Dave Hyde. Hopefully, we'll keep him around for a while.
Yeah, I don't foresee anything on the horizon that will take me away.
Yeah, he had both his fingers crossed.
Please, nothing.
Probably toes as well. We miss Dave. You know this. Nobody wants to listen to me for 2 straight hours rattle on about sports. I don't want to listen to rattle on for sports. You're yin to my yang. I need the balance here. I am, of course, the maestro Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
And do not forget, once again, final reminder, check out the weekend edition this coming weekend for more fun. Except this time, we'll rip into Hollywood and pop culture instead of sports. But if sports is your one and only thing, we'll do this all again in 7 days. But until that time, and of course, we will be recapping the NFL draft. Dave, say goodnight to the kids.
Good night to the kids.